Guys, I think we may have discovered something here. Like actually, like this is the vibe, man. This is actually the vibe. Um, so okay, first things first. Let's rip a fit check here. Start to move this. Okay. Picked this up at a little vintage store in Denver. I think you guys can see it. Um, the Biological Society. I don't even know. It's just like a triangle through a window, and then we have like fish, plants, and then just a like a DNA helix, and it's like splitting. This is actually, I think, like some inspiration for a future episode, so stay tuned. But I think I'm gonna title it. Actually, I don't want to say the title because someone's gonna probably steal it because it's too fire. But guys, like, okay, so let me give you the story here. Like, I stayed up super late last night. Didn't really sleep much, like at all. And then I had to go into work today. It was like my last day of work, and um, I got through it. Like I didn't have any like big things I had to do, so it wasn't like a huge deal. But got like just enough sleep so I could actually like focus and get my stuff done. But then I ended up like passing out at like 7 last night. I was so tempted to just take a nap after I got home from work, but I was like, if I take a nap, I'm gonna wreck my sleep. So like my sleep schedule in the future. So I ended up like um sleeping like 12 hours last night, but then I felt really good today, so I went for a run. And then I hopped in the shower. And then like you take a warm shower and then you end it just full cold, like max cold. And our shower gets like super cold. And then by like 2 minutes after that, eventually like you keep going until your breathing gets like calm, and then you cut it, and then you literally just feel like you're on Mars. Like you feel so nice, like, and like your brain is just so clear, and like you're just, I don't know. I think this is like day 1 of 6 for this vacation that I'm taking, and I'm just like at peace with everything, man. Like truly. Um, but so I was gonna record Life at the Germ after my run, but then like my roommate's still, I think he's still sleeping up there. So I was like, okay, I guess I can just wait until he wakes up. But then I was like, why don't I just go somewhere where I can talk, where it's like not a big deal, you know? And then I was like, wait, our backyard is so sick. Um, and then like I was like, let's set it up in the back. Like I don't know why I've never experimented with this. The tough part is I need my mic to be connected to a computer, and I think I usually don't have my laptop at home, but right now is like so perfect. Like, and I don't know. I'm just hoping that like you guys can get some of this, like some of the peace that I get in my backyard like translates into the video, because I think Life of the Germ is very meditative, and I want it to be very like peaceful and like just like a nice kind of vibe, you know. And I think that starts with, where am I filming it? Am I filming it in this dimly lit room that I don't really love, or am I like outside in nature, like kind of doing my own thing? So I think we'll see, man. But like I feel like I could do this on like some hikes or whatnot, and just like I do have like a pocket microphone, or like one that clips into my shirt. I don't know. Since doing this, I have so many cool ideas. So maybe you guys will just see in the future where it goes. But um, yeah, I'm going home tonight, flying back to good old Wisco. So really looking forward to that. Haven't been home since Christmas, so that should be exciting. Other than that, though, man, I'm going swimming today, so I'm really stoked to get outside. It's like a beautiful day today, as you can probably tell, and um, yeah, it just feels like for the first time in a long time, I think life is like kind of making sense a little bit. Um, But yeah, getting into the wisdom of the week. This one actually um goes back to last weekend. So last weekend, me and my buddy Ethan, we hiked a couple 14ers in Colorado, so a couple mountains out here, and we did a we did this really brutal traverse. Two 14ers that we did are called Harvard and Columbia, and you there's a traverse, so like a kind of like a trail that runs between them that connects them, and you can combine like two in a day. And what's nice about that is like when you're trying to do, there's like I think 54 14ers, and if you're trying to do them all in like a short amount of time, I don't think I'm gonna get them all before I leave, maybe, but um, like you'd like to be able to do multiple in a day because it's like for these two for examples around like 2.5 hours to get out to them. Like it is out west, you gotta travel a little bit from Denver, but um yeah, so me and my buddy did it. Super windy that day, like, and just it was just beautiful though. I brought my camera, but I think when I took the pictures there was no SD card, so like I come back and it's just empty, and I'm like, bruh. And so I don't like have like any pictures. I took a couple on my phone, but like all the pictures I had with Ethan were like with my camera, so I was kind of bummed about that. But um, yeah, just beautiful. Like there was a ridge line that like cuts between the two of them, but like I think the ridge line is just too like steep to actually hike on. So we kind of had to go like we got up to Harvard, super cold, like 60-mile-an-hour winds. We were like shivering up there, so we got to get off this. We got off, and then like the wind was like cutting over the. So imagine like the ridge line's here, right? And like the wind is just like pouring over this ridge here. So like luckily the traverse like it goes on the left side under this ridge, and then you kind of like cruise under. You're still at like 13,000 feet, and then you like slowly work your way back up kind of near the ridge line towards Columbia. And like I think like 3 miles into this traverse, like after we got up to Harvard, which was a pain. Like that was not fun. We like dropped down probably like 1,000 feet over like 3 miles, and then we like ran into this dude. Shout out Adam for the one time, and he was a really like chill dude in his 40s. We just talked to him like for the next like 5 or 6 miles as we're like traversing between the two peaks. Um, and it was cool, dude. Like since we were like hidden from the wind and the sun came out, it was like actually ended up like that part of the hike was like the best part of the hike. And we were just like it was just kind of like what they call a boulder field. There's just a bunch of big rocks, and like the trail is like not really marked, but you can see where like Columbia is. So you just kind of like hop between these rocks for like 3 or 4 miles, like so cool. And then like slowly we're working our way back up to Columbia to like like summit to get to the top, and um and then the wind starts picking up again. And me, Ethan, and Adam are just like climbing up this. It's just like what they call a scramble then. So you're just like climbing up these big boulders, like kind of on all fours, just going for it. And, we're at like 13,800, past 13,000, dude. Like you cannot breathe. Like like, and you're going uphill. So your heart rate's already really high. And then like, probably every like 20 feet you go up, you have to like, like really just like relax and like catch your breath. And add to that, the wind is like blowing like at it. Like I'm seeing Adam, who's like, I mean, he's like in shape, but he's like taller, a little bit bigger than me. Like he's getting blown around, dude. And I'm like, this is crazy. So we kind of played like red light, green light going up because it was in these gusts. So it would like stop, and then we'd be like green light, and you just like literally would just go as fast as we can, and then the wind would hit us again, and we'd stop and just like catch our breath, wait for the wind to die, and then just like, and it was just brutal, man. We did this for like probably like at least 800 feet up this mountain, up Columbia, and like probably we can see the top at this point, but it's just like playing with us because it's like it looks like it's close, but like because it's so grandesque and big, like I know we still have like a ways to go. Probably about like it's always in these things, man. Like 2/3 of the way. That is like when you like really got to dig deep, and you're like so far in and exhausted, but you're also like too far out to truly see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I like look at Adam, and I'm just like, dude, like I'm just like, why do we do this, man? Like, what is the point? Like, because you really do like I mean, we're like 10 miles into this hike at this point. We're just tired. We woke up at 3:30 in the morning. It's just like, why do we do this? And it's just pain, man. Just so painful. And like he just looks at me, and I swear I'm just like in Lord of the Rings at this point. I'm just speaking to Gandalf. Like it was like one of those moments. It sounds so like cliche and kind of corny, but like he just looks at me and he's like, no like joking or anything, and we're just like so out of breath, and he's just like, dude, like he's like, life is suffering. And I was just like, in that moment, and still to this day, like a week after, I'm just like, something about that just like really just like resonated with me a lot. And like I know I've like brought this up before, but we like went on to talk, and like we were just like, and I've had a couple conversations with friends since this, and just like I truly do just think that like he was like, you do the hard stuff now so that when you come back to anything else, everything is easy. Everything is easy. And there's just so much truth in that, man. And um I've been hearing quotes. My roommate actually were talking a couple days ago, and we were just like, you guys ever hear the quote like, I think it's hard choices easy life, or easy choices hard life. And I think all these things kind of synergize and are like talking about like similar things. And I think it kind of gets at the point like, if you live a hard life, at some point the reward is just like calm, right? And for me, like I really haven't had much of a break like the past, honestly, 6 months. Like it's been a grind. But like even my last day of work yesterday, like stepping out and just like looking around, and it's something so simple. Like I just have time off of work, right? And I'm like, this is it. I don't need like, I think like society, especially like America, loves to focus in on like, you know, this materialism of like, oh, what are you saving up for next? What are you gonna get next? But I truly think like where the real stuff is, and where like what really matters is these like intangible things, like the relationships you have with others, and like just like the sense of accomplishment after like 6 months of just like really working hard at something. Okay, I give myself 6 days off, and it's like, I don't know. People ask me what I want for my birthday. I'm like, I don't want any like material item. I want to like see my friends. I want to like celebrate, and it's like, I don't know. It's not like, it's more so like the feelings you get, and like I think people chase that through like buying certain things, and I think that you can get that feeling temporarily, but things like working towards a goal and then accomplishing that goal, or like, I don't know, like just like waking up and working hard at your craft. Like these are things that like long term bring you joy and bring you happiness, and like connecting with the people that like not only like love you, but you actually like resonate with and get like actually give a crap about. Like these are the things that like set you up for like long-term happiness. And I think we live in this society where like I think everything is wanted like now, and you've seen this like evolution in society where it's like we're gonna, okay, if that's what we're evolving towards and that's what people want, capitalism selects for things that people want, right? So then what do we have? We have this like super short form content that like just gives you these boom boom, like these quick like hits, right? And in that moment like you feel good, you're like boom, dopamine. But like long term, it just doesn't like satisfy that need, and then you always end up like craving that, right? Whereas like things like hiking up a mountain, or like pursuing something that you love deeply. Yes, like waking up, and it's so backwards and so like not intuitive that like when you work at something every day for so long, you're gonna hit this point where you despise it, dude. Like, whether that, for me, it's like running or like at work, right? Like, at a certain point, you wake up and you're like, you just straight up go, I don't want to do this. And like in those moments, I wouldn't say you're necessarily happy, but it is like at the other side of that, right? When like the goal is actually achieved, or whatever you set out, whatever adventure you set out to then accomplish, like the adventure is now complete and it's over, and you look back on it and you're like, that's fulfilling, dude. And like that fulfillment is what brings you like this long-term joy, and like allows you to like look back on yourself and be like, I've done something, I've been given this life and I've actually done something and achieved something in it, and I always, me and my roommate last night or 2 nights ago, we were talking about like, um, living two different lives, right? Life A is the life, kind of like the life that I'm living, where it's like, it's self-inflicted, um, I don't want to say pain, but like burdens, right? Whether that's like working a long day of work, and then you're like, I got to call one of my friends because I want to like not only talk to them, and despite how like tired I am, I want to like maintain that connection with that person because I love them deeply, or it's things like, I don't know, working at a craft that like, even though it sucks and you wake up and you don't want to do it, you still like find the strength to get out of bed and do it, and like, and when you're in that and you're like lifting or you're doing whatever, you're becoming better at something, like it's hard, and you're like voluntarily and like kind of inflicting a burden on yourself, right? So that's one life to live, where it feels like you're always kind of like inflicting some sort of like challenge or like pain or burden on yourself. Or there's the other life where like you're kind of living life on easy mode, and it's like you wake up and you're like, today and this whole weekend and this whole week and this whole month and this whole year, I'm just gonna like enjoy my life and like go for a walk and like watch TV and like kind of like live freely and like not really have any goals and just kind of like live day to day and like just see what happens. And like, I think for me at least, while it sucks to live the first life, and I've never really lived the second life, so I can't really speak to this, but the way I see it is like, I think by inflicting that pain now, you end up making everything else in your life so much easier, right? Kind of like getting back to what I was saying at before, but maybe in a different way, right? Whereas like if you kind of just like, I don't know, never really like put a lot of effort or like fight to like do something that maybe you don't want to, or just like you kind of just go with the flow of things like all the time. I think then when you have to do something that like you don't want to do, it makes it the threshold to get over that hurdle is so much higher than for someone living life A, where it's like they're already working and like inflicting so much pain on themselves that they're sort of like battle testing themselves, right? And like once you've battle tested yourself so much, then you see this hurdle and say it's the same hurdle. Like what would be like let's just say like 100 push-ups, right? For person B that like, oh, they're just kind of going with the flow, like don't have any goals, aren't really pursuing any craft. I would argue that for person B, 100 push-ups feels so much of a bigger threshold, right? And so much more difficult than person A, who every day they're like working towards achieving something and going after something and getting it, that they see 100 push-ups and they're like, I can do this, because you like your brain then like, I think it's impossible for your brain not to go back and like to previous experiences and to pull from previous experiences. And from person A, who's like, done this, done that, accomplished this, accomplished that, and seeing that when you put the work in, you get the output that you want, versus this person B who's maybe if they did put the work in, they could get to the output that they want, but they've just never really tried. Then like when you see 100 push-ups, person A just looks at it like, okay, maybe they break it down, they have different strategies, they've been there before, right? They know it's gonna suck. Versus person B is going into it with no experience, and they're just like, well, this is going to be really, really, really hard, because maybe they've never had to do something really, really, really hard. And it's just like, I think for me, I'd rather be person A, because I, you know, you suck it hard now in the hopes that when you're older, you can either enjoy that person B life a little more and be like, I've done it. I've done it all. And the things that are hard for person B are like a joke for person A. Or you can opt to even go take person A further and go, okay, because I've had all this history of hard experiences, I'm going to apply those and then achieve things that are even more difficult and challenging, right? And like that's kind of up to you, the like the life you want to live, I think, and like what paths you want to go. But it sets you up to be even greater in the future if you desire. Or you can end up going to be person B, and because you've done so much hard stuff, you're like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy my life. And I think in the truth of this, person A and person B, and me saying I'm person A, like truthfully, I think there's space in a person's life for both of these, and I don't think we're just one or the other. And I think these like really hard YouTubers and stuff, like, you know, you see guys like Goggins, like no days off, it's like he's more person A. But I would argue if you're all person A, the downside of that is you're gonna end up burning yourself out before you even get to the challenge, right? And maybe you actually look at the 100 push-ups of like, oh man, I've done so much recently, I'm so tired, I don't even know if I can do 100 push-ups, you know? So it's like you have to like give yourself rest. And I think like you work really hard at something, but then like you have to give yourself time to like rejuvenate and recover. And then you're like, okay, what's next? You know, it's always that question, and you like it's what keeps you like focused and what keeps you like striving for better, you know? And like at the end of the goal, you like look back and you're like, that's the time where you're like, look how far I've come. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, like, okay, what's next? What can I do better? What can we do to like make this better, to make myself better, to like you're always improving, you're always like getting better. And there's like joy in that, and like perfecting your craft and like mastering something, you know? So thank you for tuning in to Life of the Germ. I would argue life is suffering, but there's beauty on the other side of that, you know? So I'm gonna enjoy my vacation, and I'll catch you guys next week.